Petroleum CEO Tony Hayward has become the public face of the oil disaster in the Gulf for that company. But now, conflicting reports coming out that he may be handing over daily management of the oil spill to another top BP exec. If he's not in charge, who is, and can his replacement do a better job? Joining us now is the author of Never Fly Solo, Lieutenant Colonel Waldo Waldman of the U.S. Air Force Reserves. And I understand I can call you Waldo, so I will.
Yes, you can.
Thanks for being here. Now, I want to fill everybody in. You flew 65 combat missions in Iraq and Kosovo, and you say that those missions taught you everything you need to know about surviving, and now you apply it to business. So let's fast forward. BP may actually feel like they're under siege, at least PR-wise. You say there's a reason for their PR disaster. They missed a basic principle of survival. What is it?
Well, I think it's about trust. At the end of the day, when you're flying in battle, if you can't trust your flight lead, that man or woman out front, to do his or her job, then the mission's going to fail. And I think a lot of times in business, as well as in combat, you have to realize that the person out front is responsible to get the job done. If BP no longer has trust in its customers, and most importantly with the wingmen out there who are in the trenches working to solve this problem, this oil spill, then they're eventually going to lose. And you can never win when you're focused on surviving. You only win when you're focused on the customer and serving them.
Wow, that is a powerful statement. You never win when you're focused on surviving. You have to focus on those around you, the customer. And in your case, as a former pilot, that would have been your wingman because you used that word. You fly in a group of 6, is that right, 6 or 7?
Well, it depends. 2, 4, 6. On my combat missions, I flew with up to 8 at times. The bottom line is you never fly solo because so much needs to get done that you have to decentralize the control. But at the end of the day, there's only one flight lead, and he or she has to get the job done. And you have to turn to your left and right and say, I can trust you. And I think Tony Hayward's has got a tough job. We know there's a big missile being shot at him right now. I wouldn't want to be in his shoes. But at the end of the day, if he's being irresponsible in his behavior and his actions, and if he's out there on his yacht, the customer and the public's going to look at that with a lot of doubt. And you can never trust a company or a fighter pilot if you doubt him.
You think he's hurting the company right now?
I think he is hurting the company right now. And like I said, I'm not in his shoes, and it's very difficult. I think they need to make a tough decision. More importantly, I think Tony Hayward needs to make a tough decision. A great leader will be proactive. And I think by stepping down and letting somebody else be the face of BP and solve this problem, I think in the long run, BP is going to be better off. And I think you remember when Johnson & Johnson had a big problem years ago in the 80s with those cyanide-laced tablets. They admitted their mistakes, they paid for the problem, and a lot of good resulted from it. They came up with the tamper-resistant containers for the drugs. The public forgot about that mistake, and Johnson & Johnson came out on top. That's just another example. BP could bounce back even better than before. And with safety and regulations out there, I think some good can result. But I think Tony Hayward has to make a big decision. All
right, I want to acknowledge something you said, because you talked about the fact that Tony Hayward was on this yacht, because there's yacht races going off the coast of England today. And that is the public picture that we're all seeing today. You know, there's a Gulf disaster in the water off America's southeastern coast, and then he's in the water across the pond having a good time aboard a yacht. Real quickly, you say check your 6. Those are those wingmen around you, but you have to know when to quit. If you can, in 20 seconds or less, tell me what BP needs to know about when to quit.
Well, as George Patton once said, you're always on parade. Everything you say and do as a leader, your wingmen are watching you. And sometimes a great company knows when to quit and abort a mission. A leader in this case may need to abort and let somebody else take control. If Tony Hayward isn't on the flight line, walking the flight line with the troops, and they don't see him, they're going to lose trust in him. And when you're a wingman, to build trust, your troops have to see that you're in their formation, ready to go to battle when those missiles come.
I love the fact that Never Fly Solo takes the lessons that you learned as a fighter pilot. Thank you for sharing that perspective today. Get the book. It is Never Fly Solo. Lieutenant Colonel Waldo Waldman, thanks for being here.
Great to be here, Harris.
All right, the fight over Arizona's controversial